Okay, legends. On one side, we have the final boss, ready to crack some skulls. And on the other, we have a natural leader who inspires with action. And both of them are devastating. But the leader isn't Thanos. Today, I'm going to explain to you who that is. This week is a banger of a battle. And by the end, there's barely anything left to fight for. Thragg shows everyone that he is a Thanos-level threat this week. Christ, he is an absolute monster.
You could have been a Viltrumite!
Craig just gets bodied by everyone again. And Battle Beast just continues living his best life.
Soon.
This episode is an absolute slobber knocker, and I'm going to explain the heartbreaking reason why a merciless monster would show mercy and stay his hand. Buckle up, legends, this is Invincible. Last week, the Coalition battered Viltrum, but this week, they retaliated with a fury. I knew Viltrum was going to roll over the Coalition this week, after getting thoroughly rumbled the week before. Thragg was an apex predator this episode. Just look at him disrespecting everyone who tries to engage him. He makes short work of Oliver. And just look what he does to Nolan. He literally knocks him onto and off of the planet with less than a 5-minute turnaround. But the way he just pimp slaps Mark is just glorious. Look at this. I mean, that's just rude. He tanks Mark's haymaker before utterly disregarding him with a backhand. I'll give Thragg his dues. He knows how to intimidate an enemy. Except Nolan. Now, don't get me wrong. He runs Nolan through. Literally.
Mark.
There's no doubt about that. But Nolan, being the absolute boss that he is, doesn't fall for Thragg's intimidation. He steps up to him and engages him head on every time. But once again, Nolan stole the show for me. When he rallies everyone into a charge, notice how everyone stopped their engagements and just fell in line.
Everyone with me! Now!
Thragg might have that final boss energy, but Nolan has a battlefield authority that makes everyone follow when he shouts a call to arms. And he's dropping some hurting bombs along the way, clearing a path for everyone to follow. That's a leader right there. And what Nolan accomplished was arguably more impactful than anything Thragg achieved this week. That charge was epic. Nolan, Mark, and Thanos descended upon the planet like a wrecking ball. Let's not pretend it was anything that it isn't. This was utter superhero physics, pseudoscience nonsense. But it's the rule of cool. Suspension of disbelief at its finest. I knew full well it made no sense, but I didn't care. It looked amazing and I loved it. The shot of the planet exploding at the end made my jaw drop. It felt vast. You felt the magnitude of what they did. Not just physically, but for the story as well. The planet Viltrum, the home of the Empire, the heart of the enemy, utterly wiped out. That's a hell of a turn for the story. And for Thragg, the Emperor who worships that legacy, who idolizes everything that it stood for. It's the worst travesty that his enemies could have committed, and his retaliation is brutal. Now, I'm going to be honest, I haven't read the comics, but I knew this was coming. Thanos dismantled everyone last week. He was a powerhouse that could not be stopped. So I just sensed it. When Thragg flew into him and grabbed a hold of him, I just knew it was lights out for the old boy. Rest in peace, Thanos. Sadly, you got the Invincible treatment in the end, but you were an absolute boss for the entirety of your run. We salute you, sir. Of course, Thragg wasn't going to stop there. He firmly ruined Nolan and Mark in his rage. Last week went to the Coalition, but this week went to Viltrum. But it came at a cost. A big one. Thanks to Nolan's inspiring battlefield presence. The episode had a few emotional beats worth mentioning. This moment right here was lovely.
If anything happens, just remember
We know.
Nolan and his sons embracing as a family. It's the first time he's been able to hold both of them without any animosity. No anger, no resentment, just family. His arc's been one of the most rewarding I've seen in any story. A properly well-paced redemption arc that didn't skip a single beat. We've seen every step of his journey as he's earned his way back into his son's good graces. And it finally feels like he's there. Another moment that really landed was Nolan and Thragg's conversation in the throne room.
Thedas was a coward. Fighting for him is fighting for your own destruction. Your family's destruction.
I won't let him hurt my family.
Thragg is trying every angle to manipulate Nolan. Thragg knows that Nolan's one and only motivation is his children, so he's trying to weaponize it.
It's over, Thragg. The entire galaxy is unified against us. Look around, Thragg. We lost. Can't you see why all this fell?
Nolan knows that the Empire is doomed. It's rotten and in disarray, and the galaxy is unified against it.
This is our home. We will rebuild it.
No. You won't.
The death of any Viltrumite leaves a void in me.
You know what? I actually believe Thragg there. I believe that the death of a Viltrumite does leave a void in him. It does add a certain duality to his personality. Nowhere near the depth and scope of Nolan, but enough to make him more than a cardboard cutout villain. But it's this compassion towards the people of Viltrum that saved Mark's life. Thragg almost killed him. He had him ready for the slaughter, but he only showed mercy because he didn't want to lose any more of his people that day. And that beat worked for me. It didn't just feel like Mark was wearing a full suit of plot armor. It made sense for this evil, ruthless fascist to show some compassion in that moment, because it fits his ideals. Second week in a row that I've given honourable mention to Battle Beast.
My final meal will be my own blood as I choke on it.
Christ on a cracker, this guy is completely unhinged.
After a legendary battle with a superior opponent,
He is not playing with a full deck of cards.
that will be a satisfying meal indeed.
When the fight kicks off, everyone has their end of days faces on. This guy looks like it's Christmas.
Yes!
He just wants more. I mean, that chest pounding did it for me. He gets cut open and this masochist just wants round two. Of course he gave Craig a beating. He was getting FOMO. He felt like everyone was getting a slice of Craig pie and he wanted a piece.
Finally!
No.
Well, he was always going to try, wasn't he? I don't think it's the end of that fight. I get the feeling that that was the beginning of a beautiful and mutually fulfilling relationship. This episode was a superhero Royal Rumble. It was firing on all cylinders from start to finish, and it didn't leave me wanting more. It was a solid pace with a few welcome moments of depth laid throughout to give it a little more weight. I knew it wasn't going to end well for Thedas this week, and I knew Thragg was going to be the Avengers-level threat that he was. It was predictable, but I enjoyed the ride. The destruction of Viltrum was unexpected, I'll admit that, and I'm interested to see how the Viltrumites navigate that and what it means for them. I'd like to see a few more of them have an arc that shows them have a little more growth and a change of perspective, and maybe become more than the 2D Nazis that they are right now, just like Nolan did. That's all for today, legends. Please subscribe for more Hex Effect. I've been Hex, he's been an absolute tyrant, and you've been glorious. Stay legendary.